What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rant, no hate. So I want to talk about a comparison, and I want to explain something because there's people who hear things and they take part of what someone say, or just a little bit of things. They either take it the wrong way or they repeat things without really giving it thought. So I want to talk about Muhammad Ali and Roy Jones. So a while ago, some years ago, Floyd Mayweather gave his opinion on Roy Jones and Muhammad Ali, and he said that they were the same fighter. Now, I agree that they were similar in the fact that they were special and they did things that you were taught to not do, and they were able to make it work for them. So they were similar in certain regards. And of course, Roy Jones, he idolized Ali, so he copied Ali. Now, in terms of they both were, very fast, could punch. Um, I think Ali had the better reflexes. I think defensively, they both used their legs, but Ali was better defensively because Ali could slip punches with his hands down and make you miss, make you pay. Um, Made it look really easy. Okay, Ali was a thinker. Now, Roy Jones was also a thinker. Okay, Ali was strictly a headhunter, which shows you exactly how talented he was because Ali was accurate and Ali didn't waste punches. Um, Ali made his style work for him where he could do it. And like Mike Tyson said, people was getting destroyed trying to imitate Ali. Yeah, yeah. Ali was Ali. Now, I'm going to tell you where those similarities I just said, Roy wasn't a headhunter. Roy went to the body more than Ali did for sure. I don't think he was better than Ali. No. But two, that's where there's similarities in speed. They both were sharp. And they both were like talented, special, did things that you don't that you're not taught to do in the gym. Okay, had their own thing that their skill set that was enhanced and they were able to go in there and fight and do things in a way that worked for them. But Ali being a headhunter, different than Roy. Roy being a guy that went to the body a lot, different than Ali. And from there, the other differences is this: Muhammad Ali was a whole lot tougher than Roy Jones. Muhammad Ali could take a big punch. Roy couldn't. And then Roy developed a glass jaw. He couldn't take a punch anymore. Muhammad Ali at no point in his career had a weak jaw. So even to get dropped and get back up, cool. Don't mean you can't get knocked down. But Ali never got dropped and got up and wobbled all over the ring. Ali dropped, okay, cool. Henry Cooper caught him, dropped him. All right, you got me. Got up. Frazier, you know, um, but yeah, I mean, he got wobbled by Shavers, but that's my point. He could take a punch. In fact, Ali could take a beating. Roy couldn't. See, Roy could dish it out, but he couldn't take it. Ali showed he could dish it out and take it. And in fact, when Roy got knocked out by Tarver when he was 36 years old, Roy was done. So by the time we talking 38, Roy was fighting a bunch of journeymen, a bunch of jobbers, a bunch of guys who really wasn't worth a damn. And then his most notable fights as far as fighting lesser opponents that had some type of respect on him at some point was Felix Trinidad, then Jeff Lacey. Or was it Jeff Lacey, then Trinidad, then he fought Joe Calzaghe, and Joe was the only respectable dude out of that whole, from Prince, Amaji Badu, and all those guys you didn't even know the hell they were. And that was his, Jeff Lacy was like, okay, we're inviting you to the doorstep. The Trinidad fight was, okay, this is the fight to open the door. Okay? Joe Calzaghe was, okay, now you're in. You understand what I mean? And then he had the rematch with Bernard Hopkins, of course. And yeah, Bernard Hopkins is, so let me say, that's the 4 biggest names on his resume. Bernard Hopkins, James Toney, Virgil Hill, and John Ruiz, being that he went up to fight a heavyweight, fought the biggest bum of a champion in the division. But I give him credit for going up fighting the guy as a heavyweight. And then, like I said, Mike McCallum, who was 39, and he just claimed that he did it to help Mike McCallum make some money. Okay, so that's his biggest accomplishments as a pro fighter. Okay, that's his biggest wins. Now, when you take that into consideration, right, Roy Jones never had a super fight. Him and James Toney was no super fight. Him and Bernard Hopkins was no super fight. In fact, when he fought Bernard Hopkins, they both was on the come up. Neither one of them had really been established yet as what they were going to become later. When they fought the rematch, they were both past their prime, but Bernard had a whole lot more left than Roy did. Okay? And that's just the way that went. And nobody gave a shit about that fight. Roy Jones, like I said, he could dish it out, but he couldn't take it. And see, the thing is, when Ali couldn't dance and move like he used to, and he had to stand and fight more, he showed he could take it, as well as still dish it out. At 38, Ali was developing brain damage by the time when he fought Holmes. That fight should have never happened, because Ali failed his physical, and they say nothing and let the guy fight anyway. So Ali was already, and that was, like when he fought against Leon Spinks and got the belt back. Now that truthfully probably should have really just been it. We can look at that now. We can look at it for years. We can look at it after he retired and say, yeah, after that Spinks fight, just like we can look at Roy and say after the Ruiz fight, he should have retired, right? But it is what it is. Now, one thing is, like I said, regardless, Holmes beat the shit out of Ali. And Ali refused to go down. Now, picture Roy Jones in there fighting against Larry Holmes. Roy had been knocked out early. And this is Ali that was gone. And then he fought one more time against Trevor Berbick. And he was just done. But the same thing. Ali he refused to go down or quit. With Holmes, Dundee stopped the fight. It was he's taking too much of a beating. Okay. Roy Jones said he never seen Floyd Mayweather dig down and show us he got that dog in him. He never showed us. Roy, neither did you. See, there's a difference between you and Mayweather as well. Several differences. And let me explain something to you. Like George Foreman said, he said, Floyd Mayweather is more skilled than me and Muhammad Ali. He's more skilled than everybody I've ever seen. Mayweather is different. Okay, Big George said that. Roy Jones had an interview one time. I could have posted that too to show you guys. He said in the interview, him and Mayweather was different in this sense. He said Roy was an internet blow up. Like he was a phenomenon on the internet. See, he wanted to be the highest paid. He wanted to be the richer fighter. He wanted to be the guy with the most money. He said he wanted to be the king of the hill. Roy Jones. Yeah, I wanted to be the king of the hill. I didn't care about all that money and stuff. I want to be the king of the hill. Okay. So here's the deal. You admitted that Floyd was smarter than you, business-wise. And I agree. He certainly was. But then, too, if you wanted to be the king of the hill, how is it that by far Floyd has a way better resume than you do? So you want to be the king of the hill by fighting who? Because just like I said, you look at Floyd's resume. I mean, there's so many people that I forgot about that he fought, and then I'll remember later. Oh shit! Because even like the Miguel Cottos of the world, man. Like I said, Miguel Cotto, Manny Pacquiao, Sugar Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, Sean B. Mitchell, Joshua Clottey, Zab Judah. There's even faces I got in my head, and I can't even picture. I get the name. You know, Gennaro Hernandez, Arturo Gotti. I mean, are you shitting me, man? I mean, this dude didn't beat up so many fucking Diego Corrales, Jose Luis Castillo twice. They fought. He fought what's the dude that beat up Adrian Broner? Fought him twice. I mean, Ricky Hatton. Come on. If I was naming Roy Jones' opponents, I'd have stopped a long time ago. Like I just gave you his top guys. So you want to be the king of the hill, but your resume can't even compare to Floyd's. Now, are you telling us that these guys were ducking you, or like what was the situation? Because bottom line, all we know is that you didn't fight Michael Nunn. You didn't fight Mike McCallum when he was younger. You fought James Toney. You know, you didn't fight Julian Jackson. You didn't fight a Terry Norris. You know, you didn't fight a the guy that got the was it Gerald McClellan? You didn't fight Gerald McClellan. You didn't fight these dudes. You didn't fight Mikoshevsky, and you didn't fight Collins. You didn't fight these dudes. Now, when Thomas Hearns was calling him out, this is when Thomas Hearns was fighting as a cruiserweight. And I remember Roy Jones said he has nothing to gain out of fighting Thomas Hearns. Once again, I gotta add, you fought little ass just fresh off of a broken neck. You fought him, Vinny Pazienza. You fought. He said the same thing about Holyfield. He has nothing to gain by beating Holyfield. Okay, wait. You fought Ruiz, who had 3 fights with Holyfield. James Toney fought John Ruiz. James Toney fought Holyfield. You understand what I'm saying? So like even with like the things that he was saying, it's like, okay, we hear you, man, but at the same time, when you talk about you wanted to be the king of the hill by beating who, Roy? And then you said something when you tried to discredit Floyd, where you told an absolute lie in what you said. You said you was comparing. Now, true. You told some truth, but a lie at the same time. Example. You said Julio Cesar Chavez was 80-0 before he finally lost, and said if he'd have retired after that, would you have beat that? No. Okay. Here's the thing, though. Outside of Pernell Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor, he fought against De La Hoya. Who else? A couple, you don't know none of these fucking people. None of these, let's just say it like it is. And I respect Julio Cesar Chavez as a fighter, because I always thought he was a solid fighter. But out of them guys, all them bums he beat up over there in fucking Mexico, let's not sit up here and pretend that this motherfucker beat 80 killers. Stop playing. He beat a bunch of motherfuckers that nobody fucking knew who they were. And all them fights coming from Mexico. And in fact, let me show you how full of shit you are when you say that, Roy. When he fought Pernell Whitaker, they called that shit a draw. Pernell dominated that motherfucker. And you want to know what? Pernell only had 20-something fights at the time. So let's stop playing stupid. Meldrick Taylor outboxed him by far. Now, Meldrick took a beating, and he was never the same after that fight. But at the same time, guess what? He got outboxed by Meldrick. So you sitting here talking like he wouldn't have he wouldn't have broke the 80-0. So fucking what? You think that Chavez would have beat Floyd in the fight? Floyd would have embarrassed that dude and did him just, bro, come on, man. I mean, this shit is crazy. Okay, so you trying to make that point. So what? And my point of comparing him to Pernell was Pernell had 20-something fights when he fought against Chavez. And he fucking got robbed. Call that shit a draw. Okay, so that point is actually worthless. No validity to that fucking point. The other thing you said in one of your videos, you said that Marciano was 50-0, and then he died. Otherwise, he'd have kept fighting. Roy, what the fuck are you talking about? He died? Marciano retired. He was 32 years old. He retired in 56. He died in 69. What the fuck are you talking about? In a plane crash. At 69. He died? That's why he didn't stop fighting? That's why he stopped fighting? What the fuck did you say he died for? Yeah, he did. Years later. Over a decade later, he died. And I'm like, Roy don't even know what he's talking about, man. I don't care about your hatred for Floyd. You say you don't have any hate for Floyd. You love Floyd. No, you don't. You're full of shit. And I'm not even here in this video to talk about you and Floyd so much. But I just want to touch on that point about you talking about the differences between y'all. Difference. Floyd is technically better than you. See, Floyd is what you try to make James Toney out to be. A technical genius. Floyd, look, when he went up in weight, for example, James Toney, first of all, wasn't disciplined with training. He was lazy. He got fat. His conditioning was shit. And he suffered where he had fights where if he would have been in better shape, Teddy Atlas used to get on his ass all the time. And I remember one time he told Teddy he was going to get in shape just for him. And I'm like, yeah, for Teddy, huh? You try to make it seem like James Toney was more skilled than Floyd. No, bullshit. You try to make it seem like Floyd and his father was the same fighter. No, this is why. And like example, I agree with Floyd. Yeah, Ali lost to a Leon Spinks who only has 7 pro fights. Now, let's put the shoe on the other foot and say Floyd lost to a guy with only 7 fights. With the career he has already, what would you be saying about Floyd if he lost to a guy that had only 7 fights? I don't give a fuck how much we love Muhammad Ali. We're not going to sit here and glaze and act stupid and act like Muhammad Ali had the same aura of invincibility his whole career, because he didn't. Okay, but what I'm saying, in comparison to you, Floyd was not only smarter than you, he was sharper than you, and he used his head better. He knows how to nullify. See, y'all think volume. No. Marcos Maidana showed you. You can throw all them punches. You ain't landing all that shit on Floyd. So if you think Ray Leonard, you think anybody else would stand up there and hit Floyd with all them damn shots, like, no, I don't care what you did against other people. Doing it against Floyd is different. Just like I said, people sit there talking about what they did against MJ. I know. To your ass on the court with him, right? Then all of a sudden, he cook your ass and you realize, damn, MJ is different. You got to be in there sometime. You hear fighters say that. Watching from the outside, looking in, a lot of times you think a guy's easy to beat till you get in it with him. We heard Jermell Charlo talking that same shit about Canelo. Man, I could beat this guy, man. You watched him fight somebody else and he didn't look impressive to you. When you got in there with him, what happened that made you realize, damn, I can't beat this motherfucker either? No different from Sugar Ray Leonard saying he felt fine in training, everything was right, and he felt great. And on the ring walk to fight Terry Norris, he knew, this is his words, I knew I was going to lose. I just didn't feel right. Yeah. Like I could keep telling you guys, because that reality set in that you about to get your ass kicked because this dude is way better than you thought. You called him out looking at flaws and mistakes he made in past fights and thought your experience was going to be able to exploit that. But reality got you there. Because you knew you was going to have to it was going to take everything you had to beat him. Now, you just came fresh off of kicking Donnie Lalonde's ass. And everybody was saying Sugar Ray is definitely one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest. This guy finds a way to beat everybody. Then when you lost to Terry Norris, oh, he was old. See, that bullshit. But, and not only does Floyd have a way better resume than you, Roy, he was a better fighter all around than you. You were explosive, entertaining, exciting to watch it. But look at who you did all that shit against. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not to slight you. It's just to let you know, man. You had flaws in your fucking game. You know, when you got knocked out by Tarver, you was 36. At 36, and you and Tarver the same age. At 36, Floyd was beating the shit out of Canelo Alvarez, who was 23 and in his physical prime and had over 40 pro fights. Yeah. Yeah. So not only that, Canelo was more experienced when he fought Floyd than Tarver was when he fought you, when you both were 36 years old. And Floyd basically was able to keep his bearings. Floyd knew how to nullify shit that you didn't know how to nullify. And basically, your defense, you got on your legs, you put your hands up and just lean back. And like I said, your confidence got taken after, Tarver knocked you out. You sat in the fucking dressing room with Alton Murchison talking about, I don't know what these guys got to beat me with. I can't get up for these guys because I don't know these guys. Unprofessional, Roy. And you started questioning yourself. You started doubting yourself. Floyd had a stronger mind than you. You never heard Floyd talking like that. Huh? You never heard Floyd talking like that. And you never heard Ali talking like that. See, Muhammad Ali was mentally tougher than you, physically tougher than you, physically stronger than you. And Muhammad Ali, no matter how tough a fight was, Muhammad Ali didn't show up to a fight just to be in the fight. He came to win. When you fought Antonio Tarver in that third fight, you know what bullshit excuse you gave us? You said to Larry Merchant at the end of the fight, he said, is this a thing of he gave you a problem because now you're not the same fight or whatever? You said out of your own mouth, Tarver would have always gave you problems. Because it's southpaw and it's tall. He's tall, Okay. Then you turned around in an interview and said, the reason Tarver beat you, it wasn't because Tarver was so good, it was bad Roy Jones. And you said the same thing about Glenn Johnson. Okay. Then you turned around and said in the third fight that you lost the fight. And listen in, this is on my dead mama. You said you lost that third fight because your father helped train you for Tarver, and there was no way you was going to give your father all the credit. The history that y'all had, the past and everything, and then with you having these two losses, now all of a sudden with your father's help you win and you didn't want to give him credit. That's what you said. See, your fans can sit there and act stupid like they don't remember this. Maybe they don't. Who cares? But I do. That's what you said. So in other words, you went in there and fought Tarver and held back. You didn't go in there and give it your all because you didn't want your dad to get the credit. You said that. Tell me when I'm lying, Roy. You went in there, slapped your shoes, shook your head, stuck your tongue out and all that, and did much of nothing. Had like 1 or 2 rounds where you did let your hands go a little bit. The crowd got excited, was trying to get into it, and you never did. Then you got caught with a check left hook and almost got knocked the fuck out. And you said before that fight, come on, man, it's the best of 3, you know what I'm saying? And whoever won the series, that showed who the best fight is. And you lost. And they made an excuse as to why you lost. Instead of just saying, fuck it, man, Tarver was just better. You made excuses. Okay. I remember that shit. Now, Muhammad Ali fought, I forgot, I think it was the 3rd round. He got his jaw broken against Norton. Fought the whole fight with a broke jaw. You wouldn't have did that. You couldn't have did that. You didn't have that type of mental and physical toughness. I forgot who the fighter was, man. I remember it was a light-skinned dude, man. He dropped your ass in the fight. And the funny thing was the fact that he even hit you with that punch. You got up and won the fight, and that's what matters. But I remember you got dropped. And you felt so funny in that fight, though. Just the way it went down, I'm like, wow. When you got hit by John Ruiz, I remember he hit you and you shook your head, no, hit yourself in the chin, let him know he couldn't hurt you and all. And I'm like, yo, after that performance, let me show you something. Had you retired, everything that happened to you afterwards, people would have never thought it would have happened. Because you just came up to heavyweight and beat Ruiz. There's nothing Roy Jones couldn't do. This guy was this and that. Same way that he was glazing Canelo when he went up to 175 and beat Kovalev. This dude would beat Anthony Joshua. He could beat heavyweights. He's this, he's that. But then he got his ass kicked by Bivol. Well, you see, wins and losses are going to happen. Some of the greatest fighters of all time have losses. Everybody can't be undefeated. But you see, the thing about it is, now me, speaking on behalf of what Floyd said, what I'm saying is, yeah, there are similarities between Ali and Roy. But the similarities is the flash, the flare, the entertainment, and stuff like that. But as far as what they're made of as fighters, Muhammad Ali was by far way tougher than Roy Jones. Like I said, mentally and physically. Roy was exciting. Roy could do a lot of, flashy shit. That's not what it's about, though. Ali tore your ass apart. Ali had a mean streak in him. And the thing about it is, see, your fight with Bernard Hopkins was boring. You said you had one hand in that fight. Okay. And with one hand, Bernard couldn't take you out. So, okay, just saying. That was no super fight, though. John Ruiz was the biggest bum in the heavyweight boxing. And the fact that he even had a belt was like, okay, you see what David Tua did to him, right? And let's not forget, Holyfield was definitely washed up in all three of his fights with John Ruiz. This was the washed up version of Holyfield. But bottom line, David Tua went there and smoked him out his boots. James Toney also beat him fought him in a decision and tore his ass up. But bottom line is, you never had a war. The closest thing you had, it wasn't even a war, but the closest thing to it was the first fight with Tarver, simply because your ass was lost all that weight and came back down and you was gassed. And he couldn't even take you out then. But bottom line is, that's the closest you had. And it wasn't because it was just two great fighters going at it. It was because we had one great fighter, a good fighter, and you were drained. You understand? That's what that was. It was technicality, not because two guys just went there and went at it. No. You showed determination and grit in that fight, but Tarver is not really the type of guy to really put it on you. Like he's a boxer that, I don't really like Tarver as a fighter too much, but Tarver did. Tarver has some skills. Tarver has some skills. But bottom line is, man, you did what you did, and you played it safe, and you didn't throw a lot of punches. It's just when you did, you would explode with combinations, but you didn't throw a lot of punches around. Okay, you was one of those guys, man, that, like I said, you fought subpar guys. You talk as if you didn't have guys to fight in your division, but you did. Ali showed what he was made of against Frazier, against a Henry Cooper, against a George Foreman, against a Ken Norton, against a Ron Lau, against a Ernie Shavers, against a Jerry Quarry. You don't have wins over people like that. You don't have that. You look at the fight with you and James Toney, that was your breakthrough fight. That was the I'm here. I'm not no flash in the pan. And pretty much, man, out of all your fights, I'm just saying, in terms of greatness, you have two great fighters on your whole resume. And that's James Toney and Bernard Hopkins. Reese was a fucking heavyweight bum. Virgil Hill was okay. He was okay. He's decent. And Mike McCallum was 39, over the hill, and never really established himself to be a superstar in the sport. But he did have some skill. Mike McCallum was skillful. But you basically, he was an underachiever. So you and Ali are not the same. And the reason I want to make that clear is because when Floyd was saying what he said, he's talking about how you guys fundamentally did things that you weren't supposed to do, but it worked for you guys. And when it came down to having to actually use skill and not be a punching bag, well, Muhammad Ali knew, I can stand and bang if I have to. He was never scared to do it. But you couldn't. You couldn't even take a punch. You hold Muhammad Ali to such a high standard and regard. Great. I don't think no heavyweight beats Ali, a prime Ali. I think Ali can beat anybody in boxing. But I just feel like he could in his prime. Okay, Floyd Mayweather is TBE, and the fact of the matter is, when you're so great that people are comparing you to heavyweights and light heavyweights, and it speaks for itself. So all the hatred doesn't change anything. It just makes me laugh when I hear people say things, and I look at you and say, "Do you hear yourself?" So, as great as you were, Roy, I can't even say you were a big fish in a small pond because you had names that was there, but for some reason these fights never happened. So we can assume you would have beat these people. We don't have to assume who Floyd could beat. And the fact of the matter is, y'all always have to find somebody from a different era to say would have beat Floyd. Because y'all know he was better than everybody else. You praise Miguel Cotto. You praise Ricky Hatton. Y'all praise Andre Berto. Y'all say he's always in exciting fights. He's an exciting fighter. He's always going to put on the show. I love Andre Berto. Yeah, he beat Zab Judah. Okay, he beat all of these dudes. He beat the Marcos Maidanos of the world. He beat Shane Mosley. He beat Oscar De La Hoya. He beat all these dudes. I even heard somebody talk about Carlos Baldomir don't get the respect he deserved. That dude was tough and this and that. Oh, really? Well, Floyd beat him too. But yeah, it's funny because when Floyd beat him, y'all was calling Baltimore bum and this and that and with all these different things. But I'm saying Diego Corrales, Castillo, Hernandez, there's other guys. There's other names, man. You know, Angel Man, Freddie, Sean B. I mean, come on, are you shitting me, man? This dude has destroyed. He didn't beat some of the, and yet DeMarcus Corley, all these guys that he's beat. Your resume don't compare to Ali's, and your resume don't compare to Floyd's. Okay, you were a great fighter, but for us to have to sit here and use our imagination and say who you would have beat, don't matter what we believe, right? We got to go by the facts. And if we go by the facts, you don't even have an argument because your resume is what it is. And when you are to the point where you're telling yourself that you're better than what you were, like when you say you're the GOAT, imagine this. Imagine Vince Carter saying he's the greatest basketball player of all times. Then you start matching up stats, you start matching up accomplishments. You couldn't take your team to a championship. You won no championships. Solid player. Always had nice highlight reels and all. But is that what basketball is about? Or is it about winning? Look at Tim Duncan, 5 rings. Nobody talks about Tim Duncan. They talk about Kobe. They talk about LeBron. He had the same amount of rings as Kobe. Has one more than LeBron, but nobody talks about Tim Duncan. And Tim Duncan was a technician out there. He was a center, and he played his game. He played power forward. He played center. Solid player. Okay? But at the end of the fucking day, when you start looking at everybody's stats fall short to Michael Jordan, even for people that played longer than him. But somehow people want to try to find someone who doesn't measure up but say that they're better because of whatever reason. Well, this guy's from my generation or whatever it may be. And see, my thing is this: you could put Ali in any generation. I say Ali wins. We can put you in any generation. We don't know. I mean, it's all opinions. But what I'm saying is, we look at the guys you've lost to. Past 36 years old, forget about it. You'd have got dusted. You could put you in any era after 36, and there's guys that could have tore your ass up because you was done. You was washed. You see, and this is what I'm saying. You, just like any other fighter, we can't count your wins, but not count your losses, and vice versa. So when you win at 38 years old, 39, and people say that, like, I was the one defending you, Roy, saying, nah, if Roy won a fight at 39 years old against one of these journeymen, We know he's washed up, but you can't sit and criticize the guy any more than you can if he lose. Because if he lost to that guy, you'd be like, he lost to this bum. If he beats this bum, you're going to say, oh, he fought a bum. So what? But that's what he is in his career. Now, in fairness, he's doing it to himself because he continues to fight. And he's fighting guys at his caliber. So I'm not defending that. What I'm saying is, we knew you were washed up. Stop waiting for that fight to come where Roy turns the clock back. That's what I was basically getting at. This is the type of guys he's fighting. Muhammad Ali had far more substance than you did. He just had way more. Ali would have knocked you the fuck out. He would have knocked you out. And I do think Roy is a great fighter. He was a great fighter, and I think Roy was entertaining, and he brought a lot to the table. But you're not better than Floyd. You're not better than Muhammad Ali. So to Floyd's point, yeah, I do understand what he's saying, and I don't feel like he's lying. He's not, because if you look at the results, you guys weren't the same. But Ali, when he wasn't the same, danced like a, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, he still was able to fight top guys and win. Because he had that dog in him. You didn't. And that's why I find it hypocritical for you to say, we never seen Floyd have to fight with that dog in him and show this and that. What the fuck you mean? When did you ever do that shit? Now, I say one thing you and Floyd did have in common is y'all was so much better than your competition that y'all made good fighters look average. But at the same time, Floyd fought way better competition than you. He made Pacquiao look average. You never beat a great fighter and made them look average, with the exception of James Toney. But I never seen James Toney the way everybody else does. So that's what I'm saying. I give him his props as James Toney had skill, but he wasn't disciplined. He was lazy as fuck. And like I said before, there's several guys, plenty of guys that would have beat James Toney. But let James Toney tell you he's the greatest fighter of all times. And that's the best fighter on your resume. Let's not play stupid. James Toney is not as good as no fucking Floyd Mayweather. And the same way, people don't think you would have beat Sugar Ray. They don't think you would have beat Duran Hagler, Hearns. They don't think James Toney would have either. So every time that you open your mouth to say who Floyd could or couldn't beat, Roy Jones, someone your age, you should know everybody's entitled to their opinion, and they don't owe you a goddamn explanation as to why they pick somebody. Like, okay, Floyd don't have Ray Leonard in his top 5. In fact, he has Duran in his top 5, somebody that Leonard beat twice. Okay? That's just his top 5. It's really simple. It's his top 5. There's people that don't have you in their top 5 or their top 10. So what? You care more about how they rank Ali than they rank you? Come on, man. You're no Muhammad Ali. And regardless to what, for me, like people say things like, oh, it was his fights outside the ring that made people love Ali more and whatever. Well, take all that out the picture and focus on just his in-ring career. Muhammad Ali is the greatest. Floyd Mayweather is the greatest. He's TBE. Sugar Ray Robinson, he's another one. Ask how many people think you was better than Sugar Ray Robinson, but you call yourself the GOAT. So, my whole thing with that is nobody has the right to tell somebody, something about themselves out of a biased opinion and expect them to agree with that shit. I mean, you can think what you want to think. Like, you think you would have beat Ezra Charles, right? I heard you say Sugar Ray Robinson would have been a little bit too small for you. That's what you said, right? Okay. Errol Spence also said Crawford was too small. He's too light in the ass. You see what happened to him, right? Now, all I'm saying to you is, once again, you have to go and find people from a different generation and say what's better than Floyd, which is nothing but your opinion. Yet you think you could beat anybody, regardless to who they were. Sugar Ray Leonard said he felt like he could have beat anybody, even Mike Tyson. And in the same sentence, he said he don't see anybody beating Floyd. So y'all can talk all that shit and gang up on Floyd and all that, but while he's living his best life chilling, y'all sitting around coming to fucking fight conventions, limping and shit, hunched over, looking beat the fuck up in life. And he's not thinking about you guys. You guys are talking about him. And like I said, all that, I want to be the king of the hill. Yeah, but damn, look at your resume and look at Floyd's. How you gonna be the king of the? How did you want to be the king of the hill and he didn't? Like I said, but he has a way better resume than you do. Come on, man. You know, Floyd fought everybody, man, and did what he had to do. And the same thing, man. Like these guys that came after him, just like Manny Pacquiao went in there and showed Keith Thurman, you're not on my level. Come on, what the fuck does Errol Spence? And I don't even think Terrence Crawford. He's not better than Floyd either. None of these dudes is better than Floyd. None of them. They can't beat Pacquiao, but somehow they can beat Floyd. Like, come on, man. And somebody made a comment about Floyd coming the era of 12 rounds. Ray Leonard fought 15. Motherfucker, do you know one of Floyd's strongest attributes is his fucking conditioning? When the fuck have you ever seen him sucking for winning the fight? 15 rounds is easy for Floyd. But this is what, people talking and saying shit. Like, man, y'all little young motherfuckers think y'all be telling somebody something. Like, motherfuckers, save all that yap. They fought 15. Yeah, we know they fought 15 rounds. And you talking about the most well-conditioned motherfucker. You ain't never seen Floyd fight nobody. And this motherfucker, at the end of he could barely hold his arms up. Floyd's conditioning is superior. In fact, what does everybody say about Floyd? They always said Floyd trains like he's broke. Even when this motherfucker was on top of the boxing world, like he trained like he was broke. 2, 3, 4 in the morning, he's out running. Okay, and this is what I'm saying. So what the fuck are y'all talking about, man? Everything to try to make little intangibles and try to make points, but it don't mean nothing. Like when Ray Leonard got dropped by Kevin Howard and decided to retire again, is Howard as good as Floyd? Not even close. These are the things I look at, man, and I hear you guys when you trying to stick up for the Ray Leonards and the Roy Joneses and everybody else. But I'll say this: doesn't matter. The truth is the truth, and the facts are the facts. When you live a life off of opinions and what ifs, that make you a sad person, because all that really means is you haven't accomplished the shit that you would like to have accomplished, and it also means you don't know how. So therefore, I have to find fault in somebody else and point a finger because my jealous ass couldn't go out and do what that person did. And that's all that is. That's all that is. And when it comes to Roy Jones, ain't nobody picking on this motherfucker. I'm just being honest about the truth. I'll be out this motherfucker training every day. I keep myself sharp on top of my game and everything. But you know what I do? People will come to me like, yo, when you do this and that, I noticed you do that. When you was there, and we, that it's knowledge, man. That's all. And the respect that I get from people is because of who I am as a person. And like, you guys don't know me to the world. I'm not known to you. Don't know what I can do. But people that know me, they like, yo, but you so humble, man. Like the shit that you could do. If motherfucker, like people want to see me show y'all what I can do. They want that. I'm like, I have nothing to prove to nobody, man. My life is blessed. I'm fine. I don't need to, it's just like that, man. So like for me, I don't when I hear people talk, like when I listen to Roy talk, for example, man, I've yet to hear him just say Roy understands boxing. That's not it. It's not his understanding of boxing. It's when it comes to him and his feelings and speaking off of his emotion. Roy says some of the dumbest shit. And what I'm saying is, even for him to just like example, when he was talking that shit about Devin Haney and all them, and talking about how they should have came and gave the best performance. Then he goes, they didn't perform to the best of their ability. Then he goes, let me shut up. Let me shut up. It's like, yeah, Roy, you should shut up a lot more. That's exactly the point. You say stupid shit, and then it's something about your ego. He's an arrogant motherfucker that think he can say whatever he wants, and even if it offends people, I'm Roy Jones. Like, I got the right to do it, but you not supposed to send nothing back to me. Like, nah, fuck you, Roy. Ain't nobody. The fuck are you, man? Like, no, ain't no motherfucker going speak and keep no real man silent because well, I don't give a fuck who you are. You know. Every time I hear these fighters talk, man, and I hear this arrogance. And these introductions that the Radio Raheems and all these motherfuckers, one of the greatest ever. God, this guy was phenomenal. I've never seen it. yeah, glaze. You don't get that shit from me. I respect talent, and I don't have to give you no type of praise. And my thing is, I don't like arrogant motherfuckers. Like when I see people that like that, I'm okay, because I flex different with different people, but I don't do that bowing down shit to nobody. I've met many famous people. I know some famous people, and I don't glaze anybody. Like I said, people watching this video, people that I see work at Walmart, people that I see pumping gas at the gas station, waiting on tables in restaurants. I don't see none of these Floyd Mayweather, nobody. I don't see none of them any different from the way I see you. We're all human beings, so nobody gets that shit from me. You choose a profession and you act like somebody owe you something, or whenever you speak, what you say is law, and all you doing is giving your fucking opinions. Like when you say, how can I respect the guy? He said Conor was 0-0, right? Now remember, Roy said that about Floyd. He fought a guy that was 0-0 for his 50th fight. Look at what was at stake. Fuck the 50-0. The 50-0 came with the hard work. And when Canelo said he got to the point where he can fight whoever he want and he do what he want, Roy Jones agreed with that bullshit. For $300 million, Roy? And you fighting the IRS, you said? Okay. Not only that, but Roy Jones didn't have any complaints about Francis Ngannou fighting Tyson Fury. He was all for it. It's good for the sport. It bring more. Oh, see, what was his record when he fought against Tyson Fury? 0-0. Yeah. In fact, you wanted to fight, what's my man's name again? Anderson Silva. His first fight against you, what would his record have been? 0-0. But you see the hypocrisy. See, I just expose the truth and bring awareness to shit that people don't think about. And then I make a video and somebody go, damn, you know what? I never thought about that. You right. Yeah. So for you to sit here and talk about Conor was 0-0, so what? So was Francis Ngannou. But you thought this was great because he bringing eyes to the sport, and that's going to get more people to watch. And Francis Ngannou was dangerous. So why was it different for Conor McGregor? Wasn't he bringing other eyes to the sport too? And in fact, remember when Oscar De La Hoya contradicted himself and he sat there being interviewed and said Floyd Mayweather is tainting his legacy by fighting against Conor McGregor and blah blah blah. And with the same exact interview, like moments later, the guy says, there's been rumors that Canelo was saying he wants to fight with Conor. And right away, Oscar must have forgot what the fuck he said just 2 minutes ago. And that motherfucker said, oh, we can make the fight. If they want to fight with Conor, and okay, we can make the fight. Whoa, wait. Floyd is coming back at 40 years old to fight for $300 million. Okay? Canelo is young and holding belts. You know what people fail to realize and even and to acknowledge? When Floyd came back, he wasn't the champ anymore. He let the belts go, let these guys have the belts and do whatever they want to do. I'm coming back for this $300 million. It was a spectacle. He wasn't holding titles. Canelo was a champion at the time. So what the fuck business you got fighting Conor McGregor? Now, this the same dude, Canelo, saying he wouldn't fight Jake Paul simply because Jake Paul isn't ready. But he wanted to fight Conor McGregor. Why? Shit, Floyd just made $300 million. Shit, hell yeah, I'll fight him for that money. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I told you guys, nah, it's not that. Bottom line, the money is just not worth it. They get that money up, he'll fight him. Now, Floyd is tainting his legacy by fighting Conor, but it was perfectly okay for Canelo to do so. Why? It's obvious you hold Floyd at a much higher regard than, plus you're a jealous ass hater. But You know, this is what I'm talking about with these old salty, bitter motherfuckers, man. It is what it is. And, you know, I just wanted to make this video to further impact what I've already done because, like I said, man, people gonna come and feed y'all bullshit. And y'all don't think about these things because, you know, these are not subjects or topics that y'all talk about often, but then when somebody brings something up, people say things, but there's no facts involved, man. It's like I told you, man. Pay attention to the video I just posted, and you hear Roy Jones sit there talk about Marciano died. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't die, he'd have kept fighting. You know, if he'd have kept fighting, first of all, he'd have kept fighting. Who's the fuck to say he wouldn't have fucking lost? And then you want to know what Marciano's biggest wins came against? They talk about Jersey Joe Walcott, who was a smaller guy that came up in weight, that basically was over the hill. He was a smaller guy. Joe Louis was over the hill, and pretty much, you know, not to take away from Marciano, but here's my point, right? Nobody brings up Joe Louis' age though. Like for the people that say, you know, Joe was an old man at the time. He's 38 years old when he fought Marciano. But my bottom line, what I'm saying is, Roy Jones want to sit here and praise Marciano for being 50-0, but let's name the people that Marciano beat, and let's see if he beat 23 world champions in the process. Let's see. You see what I'm saying to you? You want to praise a person. You praising Julio Cesar Chavez being 80-0 before he lost, but you can't fucking name anybody outside of Pernell and Meldrick Taylor that you even gave a fuck that he fought against. See, and this is why when I look at guys and say, there's other guys, Roy, that wasn't as talented as you, that was older than you, but was fighting better competition than you. Yeah. Yeah. And so then, especially if you're going to compare your whole careers from start to finish, you can't even put Sugar Ray Leonard or yourself in the same category as fucking Floyd then. Because according to y'all, Ray was washed up at 34, because that's when Terry kicked his ass. 36, Floyd was beating the shit out of Canelo. You was getting knocked out by Tarver at 36. Yeah, so you understand what I'm saying? You same thing. Ali wasn't the same by the time he was 36 years old. At that time, you know, he was losing and then regaining the title back from Leon Spinks. See, and that's the thing. Y'all can't say that about Floyd. So y'all got to find some other shit. Oh, but Floyd he was what? He was ducking who? Who was he ducking? You know what's so funny, man? Let's go back a couple of years ago. Let's go back, put like this. Remember when Keith Thurman fought Robert Guerrero? And how everybody was praising Robert Guerrero and glazing him. Yeah, the Ghost, man, it's going to be a great fight. I remember. And I said, ain't this funny? Because when Floyd fought Robert Guerrero, y'all said he was a bum. Yeah. He was a bum. But somehow, when he fights Keith Thurman, this is going to be a great fight. Yo, the Ghost ain't no joke. Wow. Just saying, you know, you guys, somebody in the comment section of one of my previous videos said, you notice how these older fighters, they get together and like team up against Floyd. Yeah, I've been seeing it, family. I've been seeing it. But this is the thing I'm saying to you. They all sit up and talk about what they did and who they fought and who was a killer and who was this and who was that. And it's like, bro, y'all do all that talk and none of you motherfuckers are undefeated. Y'all do all that talk, and the thing about it is y'all lost to guys. Y'all lost to guys that the world don't view as great. And I'll give you an example of something, right? When the Beast Bull guy fought Marvin Hagler, Marvin stopped him, and Marv said the Beast hit harder than everybody else he's ever fought. Right, and I think that fight went 8 rounds or something like that, either 6 to 8 rounds or something like that, and he stopped the Beast. Right now, the Beast came up 160. The Beast was a champion at 154 pounds. Okay, he went back down to 154. He was a champion. He was only 30 years old. Jerry Norris knocked him out, and I think the first or the second round. Knocked him out, I think the second. Knocked him out cold. 1 punch. Okay? Somehow the Beast was old. Kirkland Lang defeated a 30-year-old Roberto Duran. Somehow Duran was old, yet he went on to win titles and do more shit after. You see, but yet this is the point. What I'm saying to you guys, you want to pick and choose who was who at what point in time. So you want to completely ignore certain things, because now when you say, well, why did it take Marvin Hagler 8 rounds to knock this dude out, and Terry knocked him out in 1 or 2 or whatever it was, right? So you understand the point what I'm saying? Now you don't want to give credit to people. Y'all not one time called Floyd old. you understand what I mean? So wait. So Floyd wasn't old at 36 beating Canelo, but Sugar Ray was old at 34 losing to Terry Norris. Duran was old at 30 losing to Kirkland Lang. You understand what I'm saying? The Beast Bugatti was old at 30 losing to Terry Norris. It's like, man, you guys always want to shift things around. And let me also say, back in the day, Terry Norris and his team offered Chavez $10 million. Chavez never made $10 million at that point. He turned the fight down. And Terry was willing to come down and fight him at 147. They wanted no parts of Terry Norris. So bring that up, Roy. You talk about how fighters don't duck no smoke. You never duck no smoke. Well, then, like I said, then the whole division must have been ducking you then. Because you certainly didn't fight the guys that you should have fought. That would have put you in a whole different situation. So when those fights didn't happen, you never could give clarity as to why they didn't happen. So your career has a lot of what ifs. Floyd's career is, he's TBE. I know that fucking hurts to keep hearing that shit. But every time, like I said, you bring up Floyd's name, you're going to cause yourself to get exposed more. Your career is going to get exposed more because people are going to start to really look into your shit. And when they look at you and Floyd, I'm telling you, they're going to come to the conclusion, why does salty old potbelly, bald-headed, old, bitter motherfucker keep bringing up Floyd? He's not better than Floyd. Not only due to the numbers, they're going to look at your skill set and look at Floyd's, and they'll say, okay, Roy was more explosive with all that, and, he let his hands go, oh, shit, and, but, like George Foreman said, your MO is to hit a guy, make him respect you, and then put on a show. Floyd would go in there and just outbox you and say, I ain't even got to knock this motherfucker out. I just, and make you look stupid all night long. So when you say that a person is more excited than another person, that doesn't mean that you beat them. And that's why I said you probably fortunate that you wasn't in the same weight class as Floyd. Because I can tell you what, you like to give your opinion, I'm going to give you mine. All that little fast shoe shine shit that you throw, that shit ain't landing on Floyd. He's too smart for that shit. Not saying you ain't going to get a good shot off here and there, but Floyd going to nullify your shit. And that style you have, the same way Bernard Hopkins' old ass nullified it. Remember what you said before y'all second fight? You can't handle the speed. You can handle the speed. You might have a chance. You can't handle that speed. You couldn't handle the first time you're going to handle that. That speed is all you talked about. Basically, Floyd would know how to find you and be able to, smart enough, quick enough to know how to get his shots, go to the body when he needs to, go upstairs, give you feints, catch you, counter you. He knew how to do more things than you did, man. All that wild overhand shit you used to do, you had flash and flare, and you did, but that shit ain't working on Floyd, man. Anytime you fought a dude that had any type of defensive skill, the fights didn't go the same. Because even if you look at you versus James Toney, you never did nothing to hurt Toney. You never did. Even when you got the little flash knockdown, he was going back, his hand touched the floor. But James Toney was fine. He wasn't hurt. Nothing really happened in that fight. You just was able to outland James Toney and not let him into the fight. But at the same time, there was nothing that really happened. There was nothing great about that fight. And your best performances never came against a great opponent. Just an opponent. Facts. So all of that shit you're talking about, what you did and how you did it, against who, Roy? You're not hitting Floyd with all that bullshit. And that's what you have in your head. You think, all that shit you talking is tough, and you think that you're going to intimidate Floyd Talking about if you want to show you better than me, all you gotta do is call me. I'm ready, always ready to go. Okay, let's hope a bunch of motherfuckers don't start calling your ass out. That's your size, and I think Floyd would beat your ass. First off, are you willing to go down and wait to actually make a fight happen? Because I know you don't think Ray gonna come up to whatever you walk around 200, 190 something, whatever the fuck your weight is. You know that's a fight that's not going to happen. So why'd you even make that stupid ass video? Like, I just wanted to, I had to chime in, man, because, you motherfuckers, man, that we've been watching for years and we gave you guys your props, but now you guys are salty and bitter and you just can't leave well enough alone. You have nothing in your career to talk about. You have to explain your career to people. That's the thing. You have to explain shit. Floyd don't give a fuck what y'all talking about, man. That's why he responded like he did. He was nice about it. Because there's a lot of shit he can say about you. A whole lot. But yeah, man. You're no Muhammad Ali. So understand, like Floyd is saying, they're the same fighter. But I'm saying they were similar, but there were a lot of differences. Floyd did not take the time to explain those differences between the two. You understand what I'm saying? So I am. And that's what I'm saying. So, no. And the reason why is because I think Roy Jones was a great fighter. He had great ability, but he was no Muhammad Ali. So for people that might have heard what Floyd said, not to take his words to face value to the point where you think, oh, they're the same fighter. So Roy was just as good as I know. Hell no, he was no Ali. Ali would have knocked Roy the fuck out. That wouldn't have been no 12-round fight. He would have knocked Roy the fuck out. And believe me, Ali was much faster and hit a whole lot harder than Antonio Tarver. And so when we look at what both fighters had, yeah, similarities, just like Adrian Broner was similar to Floyd Mayweather, but he was no Floyd by far. Derek Smoke Gainer was similar to Roy, but he wasn't Roy. But hey, you know what Derek Smoke Gainer and Roy got in common? Neither one of them motherfuckers can take a punch. So, hey, man. Yeah, I wanted to make that clear. You say Ali's your idol, well, say what I'm saying. Since you won't say it either, I'm going to say it. You were no Ali. You weren't as good as Ali. And Ali had a lot more substance than you did. And Ali had that dog in him. He had that grit. Ali would bang with anybody. Sonny Liston, come on, are you shitting me, man? George Chuvalo, are you shitting me? You don't have those type of opponents. So like I said, for you to say we never seen Floyd have to dig down and fight and show he got that dog, and then when the fuck did you ever have to do it? Who the fuck did you fight that they even put you in that scenario? And that's the thing. Floyd made way better quality opponents look bad than you did. You fought some guys that, decent fighters, but but come on, man. And that's why I said, you put your resumes up, man. Who's who? People will be looking at your list like, damn, Roy, I don't know none of these motherfuckers, man. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. You talking about a guy that beat 23 world champions. How many world champions you beat? I'm going to leave it at that. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.